You weren't even asking for a specific reason. No. I had to rewatch the video today.
Exactly, gold. Yeah, April, 8 acid. Nothing with me. Okay. In lavender? No, I can do it. Okay.
We're good to go whenever set, not that there's no rush.
Yeah, it is.
Where is that?
Their loved ones, whatever that is. 4,000. The last time. No, you get somebody good. Like Rocky, Lex is your guy. So they even tonight they have people at their meeting.
Good evening, everybody. This is the December 19th meeting of the Nantucket Conservation Commission. My name is Seth Engelborg, Chair of the Conservation Commission. We're meeting in a hybrid fashion with commissioners physically present in the room and also our staff, Will Delerba. We have exactly 0 people present in the room other than us, but maybe we'll have some online. Everyone else is everyone else is joining us remotely via Zoom. Just make sure that we follow the appropriate procedures for the meeting. Please speak through the chair. If you have a question, raise your hand, either at the table or virtually, and you'll be recognized. And with that, we need a motion to accept the agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries unanimously. We'll move on to our continuances for tonight. Under notices of intent, we have the Summer House of Nantucket Realty Trust, 10 and 16 Ocean Avenue, SC 483824, continued to January 9th. We have Sigolini Properties LLC at 8 Bassett Road, SC 483851, continued till January 9th. And I think that's it. Unless Will has anything last minute breaking for us. Oh yeah, we do. We have Sconset Beach Preservation Trust, Preservation Fund, 41 through 119 Baxter Road, SC 483736, continued until January 15th. And we have Sconset Beach Preservation Fund, 59 through 83 Baxter Road, SC 483759, continued until January 9th. Anything else?
Yeah, I was going to say we had one withdrawal.
Yeah, we'll do that when we get to it.
Cool.
All right.
Okay.
So with that being said, we'll move on to public meeting, public comment for items not on the agenda. We'll ask that you keep your comments, if any, to 3 minutes or less and to be things that are not referenced on the agenda. Does anyone on Zoom wish to make a public comment today? Do you wish to make a public comment? Go ahead.
Breaking normal protocol. This is Charles Douglas, NCTV. This is our last of hundreds of government meetings this year. So just want to wish you all Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. See you next year.
Thank you. I'd like to, on behalf of the entire Conservation Commission and maybe even the whole town of Nantucket's government, wish NCTV a very happy holiday season, and we wouldn't be able to do this work without you, so thank you very much. Okay, so we'll move on to public hearing. Notices of intent. Before we get started on the individual hearings, there was a large number of hearings that were carried over from last meeting, basically just because they were lacking a file number. if you're a representative who has one of these projects, I'm gonna ask that you not rehash the project unless there's any additional information. If there's no additional information and you just want to tell us your file number, then we'll ask the commission for questions, or if not, close. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. So we'll be starting with Old Riz 196 Hummock Pond Road, SE 48 3833, represented by David Haynes. David, good night, or good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. Yes, missed you out there on Monday night, Monday afternoon. It was a nice day. It was nice to meet everybody. What you continued for last time was more information regarding construction protocol and some revisions to the plan. The plan has been revised, and people will be happy to know that the studio has been removed from that application, along with the spa that was supposed to go in around the swimming pool. What is left is a portion of the lawn. They'd like to build plant a lawn in the area where the studio was going, but smaller area. It does not infringe on the path that comes across the property. It's used by butters. That's basically that. The construction protocol, we have provided construction protocol taking into consideration the potential for turtle habitat out there. We've given it a time of year restriction of either a time of year restriction of doing the work between November 1st and March 31st, I believe it is. Anyway, yeah, October 31st to March 31st. If the work is not done during that period, we don't really have to do anything in consideration for the turtles because they will be hibernating in the wetland area. If it is done outside of that time period, the work would include doing a sweep of educating the contractor as to what we're concerned about, doing a sweep of the area to look to see if there are any turtles of concern or anything of concern, and before we erect the silt fence. Then the silt fence would be erected, and we would, and then do a sweep inside of the silt fence every day before the work is performed. We would come in and brush cut the brush that's in there and remove any stumps that are in there. This may be modified. This is a worst case situation. They may do it by just cutting off the plants and leaving them there and then mowing over them, but I don't know that. The work will be done using the skid steer type equipment, coming in with access across the lawn and down the slope out inside of the proposed work area. The area will then be scarified to plant a lawn. I've recommended Cape Cod mix or approved equivalent, so we don't have to doesn't require water or irrigation. We're not proposing to do any fertilizer or irrigation except for hand watering to get the grass established. The split rail fence will then be installed along the silt fence line, and after the grass comes up and everything is stable, the silt fence will be removed to allow any turtles in the area to migrate across the area. With that, I think that's all the information. The only other thing is there was a pea stone patio that they've asked to have it changed to a dry laid stone patio, which was part of the original notice of intent that we changed in a minor mod to a pea stone. So whatever. So now we're going back to a dry laid stone patio and the lawn area. That's all the work that's proposed.
Thank you,
You
Mr.
have any
Chair.
questions?
Any questions or comments from commissioners? Yes, Mike, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to say to David, thank you for the site walk around on Monday. It was very helpful. I appreciate you putting the time in for that.
Anyone else?
Thank, you're welcome, and site visits are almost more important than the meeting. Even though you can't deliberate, but we talk about what's going on. Thank you.
Any questions or comments from members of the public? Seeing none, Will, do we have everything we need to close?
Yes, sir, we do.
David, would you like to close? Is there a motion to close?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Do we have a
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. That
One down and
No
50 to go.
abstains. That carries unanimously. Thank you, David. We'll move on to Mid-Island Services LP 41 and 43 Sparks Avenue, SC 48, 38, 49, represented by Mark Ritz. Good evening.
Good evening, Mark Ritz from Site Design, representing the applicants at Mid-Island Gas. This is a tank replacement for the underground fuel tanks. At the last meeting, I believe the only thing we were waiting on was a file number, which we have received. I'll be happy to answer any additional questions if the commission has any.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions or comments?
Nope.
Let's look to members of the public. Seeing none, Will, do we have everything we need to close?
Yes, we do, Seth.
Mark, would you like to close?
Please.
Is there a motion to close?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you for the second. John, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? That carries unanimously. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
We'll move on to J&A Joint Testamentary Trust, 15 Bear Street, SC 48, 38, 3848, also represented by Mark Ritz.
Good evening. Once again, Mark Ritz from Site Design, representing the applicants at 15 Bear Street. This was a notice of intent for a garage apartment outside the 50-foot buffer. Also, I believe at the last meeting, we were just waiting for a DEP file number, which we have received, and I can answer any additional questions if there are any.
Thank you. Commissioners, questions or comments?
Nope.
Anything from the public? Questions or comments? Seeing none, Will, do we have everything we need to close?
Indeed, we do.
Mark, would you like to close?
Yes, please.
Is there a motion to close?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? That carries unanimously. Thank you, Mark.
30 to go.
Next up, 8 Gull Island Lane, LLC at 8 Gull Island Lane, SC 48 3850, with Commissioner Turcott recused, and also represented by Mark Ritz.
Once again, Mark Ritz from Site Design, representing the applicants at Gull Island Lane. This is an NOI requesting approval to elevate an existing structure and place a new foundation underneath it in place. This is a historic building, goes back to the 1790s. So it's been there a while. At the last meeting, there was a typo in my waiver request, which discussed a pool, which is not in the proposal. I have provided a revised NOI that corrects that. I have also slightly modified the waiver request, giving the commission 3 options for possible waivers. One is for net benefit, because we'll be removing a retaining wall that's inside the buffer zone. The second is for being across the street from the wetland, and the third is for a grandfathered pre-existing use. There are no other major changes on the property, except there will be some additional steps on existing decks to allow, access from the elevated building. It's going up a couple feet. With that, I'll be happy to answer any additional questions.
Thank you, Mark. Questions or comments from commissioners? Questions or comments from members of the public? I don't see any. We can discuss which waivers to apply during the orders of conditions phase. Will, do we have everything we need to close?
Indubitably.
Oh, now we go again.
Mark, would you like to close?
Yes, please.
Is there a motion to
So
close?
moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? So Commissioner Turcott's recused, but among those sitting, that carries unanimously.
Thank
The
you.
only
Mark.
thing you gotta consider is that all these things that we're approving, we then have to go through the actual
That's fine.
decisions.
So we'll now move on to Lavender Point Nominee Trust at 8 Lavender Lane, SE 483835, represented by Brian Madden. Good evening, Brian.
Good evening. For the record, Brian Madden from LEC Environmental Consultants. At the last meeting, we presented the project for various site improvements for proposed work activities with a 100-foot buffer zone to the coastal bank, coastal dune, land subject to coastal storm flowage. There's also vegetated wetlands, but there's no work within 100 feet of those wetlands, vegetated wetlands. As requested, we provided some supplemental information on the resource area boundary determinations. I'd be happy to go over those in more detail if you like, but again, all proposed work is outside of the flood zone, and it is partially within the buffer zone to the coastal bank, and there is some proposed work within the 25-foot buffer zone to the coastal bank associated with decommissioning the septic system, backfilling the existing leach pits, and revegetating that entire 25-foot buffer zone back to pre-existing conditions. A portion of that occurs within the outer 100-foot buffer zone of the coastal dune. But I'll turn it over to questions.
Thank you, Brian. RJ, I know you had some concerns last time about this. Does this satisfy your concerns?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Thank you. Other commissioners, any questions or comments?
No.
Members of the public wishing to weigh in, now is your chance. Seeing none. Will, do we have everything we need to close?
Yes, we do, Seth.
Brian, would you like to close?
Yes, please.
Is there a motion to close?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. We need a second. Thank you, Joe. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Seeing none, that carries unanimously. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
And now, next up is Pennant Realty LLC at 5 Cascada Courseway, SE 483838, lucky number, also represented by Brian Madden.
Thank you very much. For the record, Brian Madden from LEC Environmental Consultants. This project involved the construction of a single-family dwelling within the 100-foot buffer zone to BVW. At the December 5th meeting, we had described that a waiver was not going to be required for the structural foundation separation to high groundwater, the 2-foot separation. I had submitted a letter that went over the soil test results that were conducted on November 26th, right before Thanksgiving, and confirmation on the final foundation design to maintain that 2-foot separation to high groundwater. Again, no waivers are required. And we also recently received the natural heritage determination letter confirming the no adverse effect and conditional note take with 5 conditions. And with that, I'll turn it over to questions.
Thank you. Commissioners, questions or comments? Seeing none. Anything from members of the public, questions or comments? Also seeing none. Will, do we have everything we need to close?
Yes, we do, Seth.
Brian, would you like to close?
Yes, please.
We need a motion to close.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank
Second.
you. And thank you for the second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? Seeing not, that will carry unanimously. Thank you,
Thank you.
Brian. We'll move on to Torcac LLC, 1 Mothball Way, SE 483844, represented by Paul Santos, who graced us in person. Thank you, Paul, and good evening.
You're welcome. Thank you. For the record, Paul Santos with Nantucket Surveyors. On behalf of the applicant Torque ACK LLC, this was an application presented at last month's meeting for the proposed removal of an existing single-family dwelling and construction of a new single-family dwelling with associated grading, landscaping, septic system component relocation, and utilities within the buffer zone to a coastal bank in a bordering vegetated wetland. 1 Mothball Way is a piece of property that is bordered by Hummock Pond. We did not have a DEP file number at last meeting. We did receive one, and I also supplemented the application with a groundwater waiver request. So that is information that was submitted after the last meeting, and I'll just read briefly from the text of that waiver request. It says, On behalf of applicant Nantucket Surveyors, requesting a waiver from Nantucket Wetland Regulation Section 390-18B1 for the above referenced project, specifically a waiver for the removal and relocation of an existing single-family dwelling foundation located at or within high groundwater. Dwelling was constructed in 1994 and predates the current regulations stating that all structures shall maintain an undisturbed 2-foot separation to high groundwater. The applicant wishes to apply for this waiver under the premise that the proposed project will not adversely impact the interest identified in the bylaw, and there are no reasonable conditions or alternatives that would allow the project to proceed in compliance with the regulation. The existing foundation is either at or basically probably a foot or so within the existing groundwater table. And so we have asked for that waiver under the premise that what's out there now essentially is already, was built prior to the waiver being needed. And happy to answer any questions that the commission may have.
Thank you, Paul. Any questions or comments from commissioners? Questions or comments from members of the public? Seeing none, Will, do we have everything we need to close?
Yes, we do.
Paul, would you like to close?
Yes, please.
Is there a motion to close?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstained? That carries unanimously. And we'll move on to Hale, 117 Nantucket Road, SC 483843 with Commissioner Mizzarelli recused. And this is Paul Santos again.
Thank you for the applicant, Paul Santos with the Nantucket Surveyors, applicant being Charles M. Hale and Karen A. Hale. 117 Nantucket Road, this is an application for a proposed installation of an in-ground pool with associated grading, landscaping, and utilities within the buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland. We did not have the DEP file number. We have since received, and we have also since received our NHESP determination letter, which basically states no adverse effect under the Wetland Protection Act and will not result in a prohibited take under the Mass Endangered Species Act.
Thank you, Paul. Is there any questions or comments from commissioners? Questions or comments from members of the public? Seeing none, Will, do we have everything we need to close?
Yes, we do.
Paul, would you like to close?
Yes, please.
Is there a motion to close?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? That carries unanimously except for Mike Mizzarelli recused. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
And we'll move on to 49 Nobodere LLC, 49 Nobodere Avenue, SC 483845, still represented by Paul Santos.
Thank you. For the record, Paul Santos with Nantucket Surveyors on behalf of the applicant 49 Nobodere LLC. This was an application for the proposed construction of a single-family dwelling, septic system, and associated grading, landscaping, and utility installation within the buffer zone to a coastal bank. This property is located in Surfside. It is a vacant lot that has been held by the same family for some time. We were unable to close due to the lack of a DEP file number. We have since received that file number. And I'll just point out one thing very briefly. I thought it was interesting that on the actual file number that was issued, the DEP made specific references, and I had not seen this before. It said the order conditions and the certificate of compliance for any new building within 100 feet landward of the top of a coastal bank permitted by the issuing authority under Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, shall contain the specific condition 310 CMR 1033 promulgated under Mass General Law 131, Section 40, requiring that no coastal engineering structure such as a bulkhead, revetment, or seawall shall be permitted on an eroding bank at any time in the future to protect the project allowed by this order of conditions. So just making
Yeah.
specific reference, I just thought it was interesting that they
That was interesting.
Yeah, thank you, Paul.
added that in there.
Probably like 2 years ago, DEP told us this guidance, and we've been putting that condition on all of our
Yeah.
permits, but I guess they really want the applicants to know too, so you're gonna start seeing it on your file numbers.
So,
Well, that was interesting.
With that being said, commissioners, any questions or comments? Let's see if members of the public have any questions or comments. Okay, Will, do we have everything we need to close?
Affirmative.
Paul, would you like to close?
yes, please.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Take Mike. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Seeing none, that carries unanimously. And going on to Middleton, 51 Nobodere Avenue, SE 48 3846, represented by Paul Santos.
Thank you. For the record, Paul Santos, on behalf of the applicant Thomas S. Middleton at 51 Nobodere Ave. This is a project that abutted the last project I just presented. It's the applications for the proposed construction of a secondary dwelling and septic system upgrade with the associated grading, landscaping, and utility installation within the buffer zone to a coastal bank. This property has an existing dwelling on it. This application is for a secondary dwelling and septic upgrade. We did not have a DEP file number. We have since received, and of note was the same note that I just read on the application for 49.
Thank you, Paul. It's the same bank and beach, so I'm glad that they were paying attention. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Members of the public, any questions or comments? Seeing none. Will, do we have everything we need to close?
Yes, we do.
All right. Paul, would you like to close?
Yes, please.
Is there a motion to close?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, we're going to take Joe on that. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any abstained or opposed? Seeing none, that carries unanimously. Next up is Harborfront Realty Trust at Village Way, SC 48 3842, represented by Paul Santos.
And thank you, Paul Santos, for the record. On behalf of the applicant, Stephen L. Cohen, trustee of Harborfront Realty Trust. This was the application for the removal and relocation of an existing set of beach stairs within a coastal bank to the coastal dune beach interface and woodland land subject to coastal storm flowage. This was a project that had been previously permitted under SE 483285. That permit had lapsed and its extension had lapsed, so it was a refiling of a previous application. We actually still have a valid NHESP determination from the original order, as that permit exceeded the local and state order. We have since received our DEP file number, and I'm happy to proceed from there.
Thank you, Paul. Linda? Yes.
I think I asked the last time, why do I need two sets of stairs coming off of 75 feet of frontage?
These are separate parcels.
Yeah, I'm going to answer that question for
Oh,
you.
because
Yeah.
we don't have it on here.
The reason why all these stairs, the multiple stairs in this relatively short amount of bank are being proposed has to do with things that are outside of our purview. I thought it was very interesting the first time this was filed from
Yeah.
a legal perspective, but it's not our role to review that. Our role is to basically review whether relocating one set of stairs from one place to another place at the same parcel is allowable or not, and let's keep it to that review.
Well, one set's going to be removed anyway.
Yeah, it's going to
Okay.
be
Yeah,
relocated.
fine. Just had to ask.
It is interesting, and you can listen to the testimony in the original filing that Paul mentioned. That you can look up the neighborly issues in that location, but it's outside of our purview. So any other commissioners? Okay, members of the public, questions or comments? Seeing none. Will, do we have everything we need to close?
Yes, we do. Sorry, Adobe just crashed and I was
Okay,
upset.
Paul, would you like to close?
Yes, please.
Is there a motion to
So
close?
moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second? Thank you, Joe. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Seeing not, that carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you as well,
Are you done?
for now.
Going, wait.
And now we'll move on to 14 Tatimo
Good.
Tatimo Way Realty Trust at 14 Tatimo Way, SC 48 3840, represented by Katie Barnacle with Commissioner Turcott recused. Katie, good evening.
Good evening. Katie Barnacle with Ilex Environmental, representing 14 Tatimo Way Realty Trust. And we, the hearing was continued for this in order for us to review a corner of the wetland boundary. that we had used a boundary from a previous plan, and we did go out and Chloe from Paul Santos's group did go out there and reflag the top of the bank. We extended the top of the bank a few flags and then also identified the bordering vegetated wetland in that area. Those were located by survey and added to the plan. And as a result, we shifted the proposed pool and patio complex. We just shifted that about 6 or 7 feet, to the south. We also removed all proposed structures within the 50-foot buffer zone. As you might remember, we were proposing more extensive fencing because of being on Hummock Pond and concerns about safety of kids and pets getting into the pond and some of the algae that overgrowth of algae in the summer. And we have removed all structures, any fencing, any low retaining walls adjacent to the pool, which was that shaded area that one of the commission members asked what that was. That is a low retaining wall. All structures are now moved out of the 50-foot buffer zone. So we believe this satisfies all the commission's concerns. And we do have a file number for this.
Thank you, Katie. Commissioners, questions or comments?
Nope.
Okay. Okay, we'll move on to members of the public. I'll recognize Sarah Alger for the record. Please say your name and your connection to the project, and then state your piece.
Hi, Sarah Alger. I represent the Price family at the abutting property at 12 Chatimo. Appreciate the changes and the additional information. However, it still appears to us that this application is incomplete. The commission, as well as the public and concerned abutters, really do need more information to fully understand the proposal. For example, the pool is now within the buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland, but we don't have any depth to groundwater information. We don't know the depth of the pool. We don't have cross sections of the pool or the proposed structures that I think are south of the pool. The waiver is inappropriate because none of these structures or uses are pre-existing. There was no update of the performance standard review to address the BVW in the applicant's materials. There's no information as to where the pool mechanicals are. One of the structures, the smaller structure that's south of the pool, is labeled WC, which I think means water closet, but we don't have any information about the utilities and the connection of that structure to septic. We don't know if it's on footings or what the depth to groundwater from those footings are, and both that and the pool must meet the 2-foot depth to groundwater, undisturbed depth to groundwater under 3.02B1. As a result, either you shouldn't grant this order, or you should continue and request additional information. I'm also unclear still. I know they've updated the plan, but I don't know that it's stamped, and it still states that it's compiled. There's information there from Nantucket surveyors. Some of that is updated, but there's also information on the plan from a prior Blackwell plan. It just seems like you should have a clear stamped existing conditions plan before you act on this.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you very much.
In reference to your last statement, if you look in the packet in the supplemental information, the last page, their site plan has been stamped by Brian P. Dundon, civil registered professional engineer, on December 13th, 2024. So that is the plan of record that we're going off of at this point.
Okay, but that, just so it's clear, that's an engineer's stamp and not a survey stamp. I think it would be more appropriate to have a surveyed plan.
I appreciate your opinion, but in Massachusetts it's not required. It could be stamped by a surveyor or an engineer, and it meets the requirements for us.
I
Um,
understand. Okay, thank you.
But I am going to refer your questions related to the structures and their separation of the groundwater to Ms. Barnacle. Do you have any information for us today at the hearing, or if not, would you be willing to provide that information?
Oh, certainly. We have, the septic system was rebuilt, a few years ago, so we do have recent groundwater information from that effort. And the pool is proposed around, elevation 11, and it's a shallow pool. It's no deeper than like 4 feet deep. And, I believe the groundwater was at 3.5 feet in elevation, according to the septic system information. So we do meet that 2 foot separation. We'd be more than happy to send you that information for the file.
Thank you. We do need that information for the file because it's currently not in there, but I
Yep.
appreciate it.
Yep.
You letting us know. Anything else from commissioners? Yes, John, go ahead.
Excuse me. Is that water closet connected to the septic there? Or proposed to be?
Katie, can you answer the questions related
Yeah.
to the proposed WC?
Yes, and that's just a single toilet, and it doesn't affect the size of the septic system according to the Board of Health regulations. So it's just kind of a standalone bathroom out there, and will be connected to the existing utilities, the existing septic system that's shown on the plan.
And there was also a question related to pool equipment. Is that going to be located within the 100-foot buffer or outside the 100-foot buffer? And
At this
either
point,
way, it should be listed on the plan.
yeah, I apologize. I thought it was adjacent to the shed, but outside of the 100-foot buffer zone. There's like a different shading area, the concrete pad. It says proposed I can't see, 6 or 8 by 10 foot concrete pad adjacent to the proposed shed. That is where the equipment will be.
Right in the bottom of the pool.
Okay, we do need the plan updated to reference that. Even if it's outside the 100-foot buffer, we need a complete plan.
Sure, yep.
Other commissioners? Ms. Salger, do you have a follow-up comment? Seeing not. Any other questions or comments from members of the public? Okay, it seems like at this time, we're still waiting on additional information. So would you like to continue till January 9th?
Yeah, so these wouldn't be able to be conditioned, but continue.
Not without not with the incomplete plan, no.
Okay, certainly then. Yeah, we request a continuance.
Thank you. That will continue to January 9th. And we'll move on to Tatima Way Realty Trust at 16 Tatima Way, SC 483841, also represented by Katie Barnacle with Commissioner Turcott recused.
Great. Yep, good evening. My name is Katie Barnacle with Ilex Environmental, representing Tatima Way Realty Trust at number 16. And we listened to what the commission members said, same situation about all the fencing that was proposed between the house, the existing house, and Hummock Pond because of concerns of the algae growth. And we have removed all proposed fencing within the 50-foot buffer zone. What will remain is the existing fencing that's there, and also the deck that we had talked about also. And I believe the commission members did go out and take a look at the deck on Monday. And so instead of replacing all of the existing fences, we've revised the information on the plan to show that that fencing will just be repaired and maintained. But we have put a fence outside of the 50-foot buffer zone to contain animals and dogs and pets in the house, the part of the lawn that's between the house and the roadway, not the house and the pond. So we're kind of moving all the activities to the other side of the house so that there's no proposed structures within the 50-foot buffer zone to the pond. And in terms of the deck, we had previously had deck reconstruction. And I know some of the members were concerned that we're going to be taking the entire deck down and rebuilding. And I did clarify that what we're going to do is we're resurfacing the deck, and we're actually taking out some of the stairs so that it's going to be slightly different, slightly smaller in footprint There's just two little corners of the stairs that are going to be taken out, and that's going to be deck. So we're resurfacing the deck, and if we have to repair or replace a footing or two, then we will do that. But certainly it's not a wholesale reconstruction of the deck as we had previously had on the plan. So that's been revised. So we believe at this point we addressed all the commission. Oh, and we did. Sorry, we there's a walking path down to the pond that's in a right of way. And originally, I believe the walking was done on part of the driveway and then over onto the path. We're just relocating a portion of that path. Most of it is outside of the 100-foot buffer zone, just into the way. And we don't even think we have to do much there. We might have to shift the fence a foot or cut some branches, but there's really very little work in order to relocate that way into the proper way, if you will. So we believe that we've addressed all the commission's concerns, and we do have a file number for this project.
Thank you. Questions or comments from commissioners? Okay, time for my questions then. The portion of the path that's being relocated, are you proposing to restore that to native vegetation after the relocation?
Yeah, and basically there's some lawn there now, and we'll just maintain there. Like you can actually walk that portion of the path there right now, but we want to make sure that people can get, canoes and kayaks down there. So we may have to cut down some branches, but we don't even anticipate having to do much with the ground vegetation that's there right now.
Okay, and are you proposing to demarcate that in any specific way? Because I'm worried that it's going to just be cut and then we're going to all of a sudden have a path that's double the width that it is now. So I think we, as a commission, should condition that to be restored or demarcated.
Yeah, that's fine. And we will have the proposed fence just to the west of it. So there can't be any widening, at least on this property, because of that feature.
Thank you. And then my second question, or it's really more of a comment, is that I think in the order of conditions related to the deck repair, that we should just make a condition that says that should any structural work be required, it will trigger the filing of a new notice of intent or an amendment to this current order.
I'm sorry, could you just repeat the wording? What will trigger a new filing?
Yeah, so you're talking about the deck. You're saying now it's just going to be basically resurfacing the deck, but it seemed a little bit wishy-washy that you might be going in and doing some work on the pilings if needed. And if we're going to end up doing that, that is going to meet the sort of replacement criteria rather than the maintenance criteria. So I would prefer to see us have a condition saying if structural work is required, it will be prior to that work being done, it will require the filing of an amended order or a new notice for that work.
We were thinking that like one or two might need to be out of I don't know how many are there, 20 or so footings.
Yeah,
Like if we just have to replace a couple, we were thinking that meets the repair definition. I can understand if it's a greater amount, maybe greater than 50% or something like that. I didn't know if we could refine that a little bit more just for clarification.
Well, it's up for the commissioners to discuss, and we can discuss it in order of conditions. People might have different opinions in mind.
Okay.
My opinion is that any structural work is replacement, not repair. But we can talk about that in the orders. Anything else from commissioners? Okay. Any questions or comments from members of the public? Seeing none. On this one, I think we are ready to close, Will, if we have everything we need to close.
Did we get our NHESP or did you require it? I'm sorry on this one.
Now, the actual Wetlands Protection Act, I'm sorry, the estimated habitat is actually in the water. And so right here, on the lot is the priority habitat boundary. And single-family homes and repair and replacement of existing lawfully permitted, lawns and structures are allowed as exemptions under the priority habitat.
The answer is yes.
So it seems like we have everything we need to close.
Yes.
Katie, would you like to close?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Is there a motion to close?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Is
Second.
there a second. Thank you, Mike. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed or abstained? Commissioner Turcott is recused, and among those sitting, that carries unanimously. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you.
We'll move on to 6, don't come back to the table quite yet. We'll move on to 6 Swain Street LLC at 6 Swain Street, SE 48 3839, represented by Art Gasparo with Commissioner Turcott recused.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I thought this had closed last time.
We didn't
It
have a
very
number.
well may have. We're gonna check our records.
We didn't have a number, though, did we?
I thought this one didn't have.
Did you have a file number?
I thought so.
Okay, 1 second.
Based on my records here, it closed.
This could have been an agenda typo.
I can check.
Indubitably.
Yeah, this closed, so we don't have to do that.
Okay. Take one off.
Okay.
Cool.
Now we have, thank you, Art, sorry about that.
Okay, no problem.
Now we have McCarthy at 9 Cow Pond Lane, represented by McCarthy, if said person is here.
I don't see Pat. I'm checking the Zoom list just in case, but, oh, what excellent timing.
Come
This
on
is
down.
Mr.
Are you
McCarthy.
Mr. McCarthy? We are here
You
for
just came
your
up.
notice of intent, so please introduce yourself for the record, your connection to the project, and then go over the project for us.
I'm the owner of
You gotta.
You gotta,
put the-
Pat,
Closer
put
to
that
the
thing up
9
there.
Cow Pond. I just put in an application to build a deck on the side of the garage apartment at the back, and then change the use of the garage to a third apartment, or like or a second apartment.
Thank you, Mr. McCarthy. Commissioners, and questions or comments on this one?
I know this property well.
Okay.
Linda.
Did, is this plan dated 11/27/07, stamped by Paul Santos? Is that the plan of record that we're using? Or do we need a new plan? Will?
I believe we can use that plan, knowing the area of Cow Pond, just with what's there, it is the same as what's on the plan. It's a very minor project, if that weighs into anybody's feelings on that, but obviously it's up to the commission's discretion.
Okay, commissioners, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm fine with it. I know the property.
Okay. Let's look to members of the public. Any questions or comments? Seeing none. Will, do we have everything we need to close?
We are still waiting on a DEP number on this one. So we
Mr.
might have that a
McCarthy,
few
the DEP hasn't issued the file number, so we'll need to continue until January 9th. But hopefully you'll have a file number by then and we'll be able to close the application. So would you like to continue to January 9th?
Pardon?
Uh,
Would I like to continue to?
Till January 9th.
We're
Yeah,
waiting for the
yeah.
number
We're
from the
waiting for
state.
the file number from the state.
Okay.
We
but
can't close
everything
without
is
that.
Everything is fine though.
Everything's, the commission doesn't seem to have any questions or comments.
Okay.
They seem to be fine with the application, but we cannot close the application without a file number. Yeah, Will, go ahead.
I'll super quick chime in too, just because I know when DEP hasn't issued a file number, sometimes it means they flagged the application, but they are just behind. We have 4 new ones that haven't been issued a number yet. It's just kind of been the story lately.
So what you'll need to do is assent to a continuance to January 9th and then reappear on the 9th of January to open this hearing again and hopefully close it at that point.
Okay,
Do you assent to that?
yep,
Okay, this will continue till January 9th.
okay, thanks very much.
Thank you, Mr. McCarthy. That will move us on to Yellow Dog Nominee Trust at 224 Pulpus Road, SC 483858, represented by Brian Madden.
Good evening. For the record, Brian Madden from LEC. Environmental resource areas on the subject parcel include BVW within the northern northeasterly part of the site and an isolated vegetated wetland on the east side. Proposed project involves 2 additions onto the existing single-family dwelling, along with new porch and deck entries, covered outdoor space that's being converted from a stone patio to a covered space. There's a garage secondary dwelling proposed that overlaps with the existing driveway, the loop driveway. That structure will be on slab, and the driveway itself will be reconfigured. All structures are located outside the 50-foot buffer zone, and the structures themselves will maintain at least the 2-foot separation high groundwater. There are no waivers being proposed for the project. And with that, I'll turn over to questions.
Thank you, Brian. Questions or comments from commissioners? Seeing none. Questions or comments from the public? Also none. Will, do we have everything we need to close on this one?
Yes, we do.
Brian, would you like to close?
Yes, please.
Is there a motion to close?
Motion to close, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you, Joe. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? Seeing none, that carries unanimously. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
And we'll move on to 46 West Mycomet LLC at 46 West Mycomet Road. And this is represented by Brian Madden, and Commissioner Williams is recused.
Yeah, because I'm working on the one next to it.
Thank you very much. Brian Madden from LEC, representing the applicant. So the proposed project involves relocating the existing single-family dwelling onto the north side of West Mycomet Road. The currently portions of the structure are within the 50-foot buffer zone to coastal dune that I had reestablished this past fall. And in place of the dwelling footprint, a new deck is proposed to be installed, upgrading of the 50-foot buffer zone. There's going to be a network or a connection of walking paths leading from West Mycomet Road to the deck and then to pre-existing paths. The footprint itself in and around the deck and paths is going to be revegetated with native species, and all work is upgrading of the 25-foot buffer zone. So the removal of the structure and relocation will certainly provide an improvement over existing conditions. And with that, I'll turn over to questions.
Thank you, Brian. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Members of the public, questions or comments? Seeing none. Will, do we have everything we need to close?
We are awaiting a Department of Environmental Protection number.
Okay. With that, Brian, would you like to continue to January 9th?
Yes, please. Yeah.
That will continue to January 9th. Thank you. We'll move on to Osborne, 6 Woodbury Lane, SC 483854 with Commissioner Turcott recused, represented by Brian Madden.
Thank you very much. Proposed project involves the addition onto an existing single-family dwelling and addition onto a detached garage. Proposed work is within the 100-foot buffer zone to BVW. The, let's see, hold on a quick second. The additions will be situated on shallow crawl space foundations to match existing foundations. However, considering it's matching existing, the footings will be located within the 2-foot separation to high groundwater. They don't actually extend into high groundwater, but are within the 2-foot separation. And the minimal small additions, on the nursery. Sorry, a proposed nursery is being added to the existing dwelling. That's 126 square feet, and then the additional addition onto the garage is 119 square feet. These are minimal bump outs, and that should have no adverse effect on the surrounding BVW system that's within the larger HOA property that's been subject to ongoing invasive species management over time. We have respectfully requested the waiver for the 2-foot separation of high groundwater with no alternative foundations design feasible considering existing conditions and existing foundation designs, but BMPs are implemented to avoid those adverse effects and will not affect the overall hydrology of the system. So with that, I'll turn it over to questions.
Thank you, commissioners. Are there any questions or comments? Yes, Mike, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Brian, I assume the brick patio and the landscape walls already exist back there, so it's not labeled existing?
Yes, those do currently exist, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Questions or comments from members of the public? Yes, come to the microphone and introduce yourself and state your piece.
Hi, Willa Arsenal for the Nantucket Land and Water Council.
You gotta get closer.
Okie dokie. Is that better?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Appreciate that you've let us know where you're going to be dewatering to during construction. Curious if that's just during construction or after. I wasn't sure if that was indicated. And then I'm also just not seeing any evidence to demonstrate that there will be no impacts to the hydrology, no adverse impacts after the installation of this new foundation. Just wondering if you can demonstrate that, if there could be evidence supporting that.
Thank you. Ryan, would you like to answer the question about dewatering first and foremost?
Yeah, so there's no proposed permanent dewatering system being proposed. It's only if necessary during initial installation construction. However, it may not be necessary. As we all know, Woodbury Lane subdivision has some variable soil conditions. But again, these are very small bump out additions. I've worked on a number of the single family homes across the street within the last few years that had larger foundation designs and larger footprints. And those were handled effectively during construction. Again, these are small bump outs and will not have any adverse effects on the overall hydrology of the system. The wetland located to the southeast is at a lower elevation, and these areas are within flat lawn areas immediately abutting the houses or structures. But I'd be happy to answer any other questions.
Thank you, Mr. Madden. Satisfied?
Yeah, thank you.
I would say personally, I find the alternatives analysis in this project description to be somewhat lacking. It basically says there's no alternatives that are feasible, which might be true, but none are even really considered, it seems like. The commission's within its discretion to accept that, but in the future, I would appreciate more effort being taken, even if none are feasible to list out what
Why
the
they're not.
ones
Yeah.
were considered that weren't feasible. So thank you.
Noted.
Anyone else? Okay. Will, do we have everything we need to close?
Yes, we do.
Thank you. Brian, would you like to close?
Yes, please.
Is there a
to
motion to
close.
close? Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, we're gonna say Tim on that. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Commissioner Turkos recused, but among those sitting, that carries unanimously. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
We'll move on to Burbage, 47 Quidnet Road, SE 483855, represented by Brian Madden.
Thank you very much. So this proposed project involves site improvements to the existing conditions. Resource areas on the subject parcel include an isolated vegetated wetland located within the northeasterly portion of the property abutting Quidnet Road. There's also BVW that's located north of Quidnet Road. Proposed site improvements include additions onto the existing single-family dwelling, installation of a pool with the adjacent dry-laid stone patio, a relocated shed, a new garage, guest house, and a reconfigured driveway with regrading, landscaping, utility updates. All proposed structures are outside the 50-foot buffer zone. The guest house garage will be situated on a slab foundations. The additions and the 8-foot deep pool will maintain the 2-foot separation of high groundwater. We included the results of recent soil testing on the site plan. Less than 50% of the area between the 25 and 50 foot is being revegetated, and we are proposing to do some revegetation within that zone with native species: eastern red cedar, American holly, inkberry, arrowwood, sweet pepperbush, and bayberry. We are requesting a waiver because under existing conditions, the existing driveway is located within the 25-foot buffer zone to the isolated vegetated wetland. We are proposing to relocate that driveway further away outside the 25-foot buffer zone, so moving it further to the west. And then we are proposing to revegetate that 25-foot buffer zone in the former driveway footprint with arrowwood and sweet pepperbush shrubs. That area totals 390 square feet, which will result in a long-term net improvement over existing conditions, and we've requested the waiver under that item. And with that, I'll turn it over to questions.
Thank you, Brian. Commissioners, questions or comments? Yeah, we'll take John first.
Hi, Brian. Is that retaining wall proposed or existing? On the other side of the pool there?
That is existing. Yep, on the east side.
Yeah.
Yes, that's existing.
Thanks.
Not a flat site.
Thank you. RJ?
Thank you through the chair to Brian. Just wanted to, this is a comment, not a question. Just thank you for including the test pit locations on here. In projects like this, I think it saves me asking a lot of questions. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, RJ, and thank you, Brian.
say,
Any other commissioners? Okay, how about members of the public wishing to weigh in? Seeing none. Will, do we have everything we need to close?
Yes, we do.
Brian, would you like to close?
Yes, please.
Is there a motion to close?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed or abstained? That carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll now be moving on to Elegance LLC at 75 Pocomo Road, SE 483852, represented by Brian Madden. We have Commissioners Turcott and Williams recused. Is everyone else good? All right, Brian, you're welcome to begin.
Thanks so much. Almost done. Brian Madden from LEC Environmental Consultants. The proposed project involves the installation of a dry laid stone patio, upgrading of the 25-foot buffer zone to a coastal bank, and a connection of a formal walking path, a grass path, up to a set of stairs that was previously installed as approved by the Conservation Commission. Um, that order of conditions, which was issued back in 2017, and a certificate of compliance was issued in 2022. We had requested a waiver if it was necessary, because while the beach stairs that are pre-existing are clearly water dependent, I wasn't abundantly clear if the adjoining walking path that access those beach stairs would fall under that water dependent use. I think it does, but conservatively, we've requested a waiver just for the formal establishment of that walking path from the patio to the set of beach stairs. And it's within a previously approved brush cut area that already has low growing vegetation to begin with, and is located within a flat surface. So with that, I'll turn it over to questions.
Thank you, Brian. Questions or comments from commissioners? I think the question about whether walking paths are water dependent is interesting, because I guess if it wasn't there, you could still get there. But the same thing could be said about if a beach stairs isn't there, you could still get down the bank. It just would be a lot less safe. So I don't know. It's a matter of opinion, up for the Conservation Commission to decide, which we'll do in orders of conditions. But I appreciate you requesting the waiver should it be necessary. Members of the public, any questions or comments? Yep, come up.
Hi, Willa Arsenal for the Nantucket Land and Water Council. Just given the proximity to the harbor, I'm wondering if it's possible to condition the walking path, since it's a grass path, to not have fertilizer used on it.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
For your comment. I would absolutely agree with a condition that says no fertilizer or agricultural chemicals to be used at all on that path. And I would also be in favor of a condition that permanently demarcates the width of the path so that it doesn't grow over time. But we can talk about that in the orders of conditions section. Anything else? Okay, seeing none. Let's see. Do we have everything we need to close on this one?
Yes, we do.
Okay, Brian, would you like to close?
Yes, please.
Is there a motion to close?
So moved.
Is there a second? Thank you, Joe. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any abstained or opposed? Commissioners Turcott and Williams are recused, but among those sitting, that carries unanimously. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Oh.
And now, Serendipity LLC, it's 77 Pockamo Road, SE 483853, represented by Brian Madden.
Thank you very much. For the record, Brian Madden from LEC. This is the adjoining property, and what is being proposed is converting an existing gazebo to a proposed cabana, and it's upgrading of the 50-foot buffer zone to the coastal bank, and there's some additional landscaping updates as depicted on the site plan, but no waivers are required for the project, and I'll turn over to questions.
I'm going this way again.
Okay, Commissioner Williams is recused for this project, and RJ, what do you want to do?
I'm not recused from this one.
Okay, all right. So commissioners, questions or comments? Seeing none. We have no public on Zoom anymore. Do either our two public members of the public in person wish to speak? All right. Will, do we have everything we need to close?
Yes, we do.
Is there a motion to close?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second?
All right, we'll do Tim. And all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed or abstained? Commissioner Williams recused, but among those sitting, that carried unanimously. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
We'll move on to Porter, 60 Squam Road, SC 483847, represented by Paul Santos with Commissioner Mizzarelli recused.
I think I have to recuse too.
Okay, and Commissioner Schaefer recused.
We're a busy bunch.
All right.
Okay.
Paul, go ahead.
Thank you. For the record, Paul Santos with Nantucket Surveyors. On behalf of the property owner and applicant Edward S. and Jennifer L. Porter, property is located at 60 Squam Road. This is the first time you've seen this application. It is a notice of intent for the proposed installation of a solar panel arrays located within the buffer zone to an isolated vegetated wetland located on the property and an off-site vegetated wetland. Proposed work is shown on the plan that we have submitted. It is an area that is mapped and did require a filing with NHESP. That has been completed. We do not have a determination at this time. I will point out that in bear with me,
97, I think.
1990, I think.
It's a great year.
I should have tagged this, I apologize.
I think it's 1997.
All right, in 1997, when the house in the secondary dwelling were constructed, there was a determination at that point that the work did occur within the habitat of was it a spotted turtle?
Spotted turtle.
Spotted turtle. So I'm not sure whether we'll receive any more information with regard to the solar arrays, but that was the determination back in the time the homes were built. I do have a DEP file number. However, we do not have the NHESP determination at this point. And I'm happy to answer any questions that the commission may have.
Thank you. Commissioners, questions or comments? Seeing none. Member of the public? Okay. We don't have what we need to close, so Paul, would you like to continue till January 9th?
Yes, I would. Thank you.
Okay, that will continue to January 9th. And we'll move on to Donahue, 26 Gosnold Road, represented by Paul Santos.
Okay, thank you. For the record, Paul Santos on behalf of the property owner and applicant, Aaron Donahue. This is a property located at 26 Gosnold Road. This is a notice of intent application for proposed improvements to an existing developed residential lot to include reconfiguration of the existing driveways in order to provide handicapped accessibility to the main dwelling. The applicant is also proposing an in-ground swimming pool. All work with associated grading, landscaping, and utility infrastructure within the buffer zones to an off-site bordering vegetated wetland located across Gosnold Road at the intersection of Sachem Road. And there is an off-site depression located on the property abutting us that we've respected as part of with a buffer zone for the time that the homes were constructed. So this is essentially an application to provide one of the owners who now is in need of handicapped accessibility from the parking areas to the main dwelling, and then also the construction of the pool. Would the pool be constructed meeting the 2-foot groundwater separation? There are no waivers required. The plan that you see before you shows the off-site depression with the 25 and a 50-foot no-build, the area across Gosnold Road with the 25 and the 50-foot no-build. The pool is located outside of the 50-foot no-build. Driveways, existing driveways are located within the 100-foot buffer zones. And we've shown the relocated driveways and the access to the main dwelling, which is the dwelling to the left on that plan that you have before you. I do not have a DEP file number, Will, unless someone magically appeared today.
No magic tricks.
And I'm happy to answer any questions that the commission may have. And it seems that I have a tendency to not show pool equipment. So before John asks me about it, I will add it to the plan before we come back next month.
Thank you, Paul. Questions or comments from members of our commission? Okay, members of the public? Seeing none, would you like to continue till January 9th?
Yes, please.
I will continue to January 9th. And we need to accept the withdrawal for 04 TST 36 Washington Pond LLC at 36 Washington Pond Road, SE 48 3856. Is there a motion to accept the withdrawal?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Linda and Mike, for the second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Actually, RJ, you wanted to recuse on that?
Yeah.
The 36 Washington Pond? It's a withdrawal, but.
Then I won't, yeah, I'll be.
Okay.
just
Our-
in case.
Commissioner Turcotte is going to recuse, but among those sitting, that is unanimous consent to accept the withdrawal. And we'll move on to
Hawthorne.
Horn Place Nominee Trust, 40 Hawthorne Lane, SE 48 3857. And Commissioner Turcotte recused, and this is represented by Mark Ritz.
Good evening, Mark Ritz, representing the applicants at 40 Hawthorne Lane. This is a new one, actually, so let me walk you guys through the project. This is a residential development of a portion of this lot. The bulk of the development, the house, pool, cabana, and a lot of the driveway are outside of jurisdictional areas. What we have within jurisdiction is a pervious driveway coming in off of Millbrook Road. There's a bit of a pinch point on this property with the lot line from the abutting property and what was once upon a time, many decades ago, a cranberry bog and is just now a wetland on the property. So we have a driveway coming in inside the 50-foot buffer, entirely outside the 25-foot. It will either be shell or gravel, or but it'll be completely pervious. We then have a small building outside the 50-foot buffer to the cranberry bog and former cranberry bog. The driveway then continues onto the property and runs for a stretch outside the 50-foot buffer, and then the driveway leaves the buffer zone and is out of jurisdiction. We also have on a portion of the property, we're proposing a tennis court with tennis court fencing and a solar array, which are both located outside of the 50-foot buffer to the former cranberry bog. And that's basically the extent of the project. I'll be happy to answer any questions. All structures are high enough up that we are well outside of the 2-foot groundwater separation. We don't need any waivers on anything.
Thank you, Mark. Questions or comments from commissioners?
That's part of Granger for us, big property.
Questions or comments from members of the public? Yes, come up and introduce yourself.
Hi, Willa Arsenal for the Nantucket Land and Water Council. I'm just curious, this application is listed as a subdivision. So I'm wondering if this permit is passed, does this sort of affirm or, not confirm a subdivision on this property? Because it's on GIS, it's not subdivided yet.
Thank you. Our permitting process here has no say over subdivision. They're probably using the same plan for this and zoning or planning if they need to, but Mark, if you have any comment on that, you're welcome to say so, or otherwise we can just say that it doesn't really apply here.
In terms of this, many times we've requested approval on a portion of the lot. Subdivision will be in the works at some point, and we'll have to, comply with all other issues required by other boards, departments, et cetera. But we're just here with the Concom asking for jurisdictional wetlands issues.
I can tell you, though, that if we pass our procedural update later in this meeting, as of January 1st, this is going to change, but we won't spoil the surprise until then. But for now, they are proceeding in the way that is allowed for them under the procedures.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay. Will, do we have everything we need to close?
I believe we do. We
Okay,
have our DEP number.
Mark, would you like to close?
Please.
Thank you. Is there a motion to close?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Linda. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Tim. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? No, that carries unanimously except for Commissioner Turcott recused. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
And we'll move on to amended orders of conditions. We have one, which is 46 West Mycomet LLC at 46 West Mycomet Road, SC 48 3649 with Commissioner Williams recused. This is represented by Brian Madden.
Thank you very much. Brian Madden from LEC. So this amendment request, when we were putting together the notice of intent for the house move application that we previously talked about, I had gone through the Conservation Commission file and had noted something that deviated from existing conditions, and we wanted to rectify that. In June 2023, an order of conditions was issued for relocation of the footpath and installation of seasonal aluminum beach stairs. The prior beach path and set of stairs had wandered off-site and it was being relocated on-site. And it basically hugged the easterly property line, but what was actually installed was a path that relocated a little bit further to the west to a wooden set of beach stairs that we survey located and have shown on the existing conditions plan. So the amendment request is to seek the after the fact approval of the current footpath and set of wooden beach stairs. I can answer any questions.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Seeing none. Questions or comments from members of the public? Seeing none. Will, do we have everything we need to close an issue?
Yes, we do.
Is there a motion to close the hearing and issue the amended order of conditions?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Seeing none, that carries unanimously except for Commissioner Williams recused. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
And we'll move on to the public meeting. We'll begin under request for determination of applicability. We just have one, which is Wagner, 12 Clover Lane, represented by Paul Santos.
Thank you. For the record, Paul Santos with Nantucket Surveyors on behalf of the property owner and applicant, Richard W. and Martha G. Wagner. This is a request for determination of applicability for 12 Plover Lane. The applicant is proposing to construct a second floor addition located above a proposed first floor screen porch and second floor deck with access stairs. All this proposed work is located within an existing deck footprint that presently is located within the 100-foot buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland. So this application is to determine whether or not the project requires a notice of intent. There'll be no direct or indirect impacts to any wetland resource areas, and the proposed work is depicted on the site plan that we have submitted. So this is construction work essentially within an area that is already structure, it being decking along the backside of the existing dwelling. And I'm happy to answer any questions. The plan itself, Will, I don't know if you have that up here, if you want to bring it up or you see it in front of you. The backside of the house, there is an existing deck. Part of it will be the addition, and the other will be a second floor deck along the backside of the house there. And you'll see the buffer zone just barely comes through the proposed work that we're looking to do. And happy to answer any questions the commission may have.
Thank you, Paul. Questions or comments from commissioners? Will, have you been out to the site and do you have a recommendation for us?
Yes, and yes. I always get mixed up on these codes. I love it. I was recommending issuing a -3 for the determination that the work proposed is in the buffer zone, but there's no adverse impacts to the resource area. And I believe that -3 covers, I know you checked 2 boxes, Paul, but I think that -3 answers both questions. If that makes sense. Does it?
I
Okay.
don't agree.
You do not?
I don't agree. I think we need a -3
And a positive
saying
2A.
that the work does not require a notice of intent. And I believe a +2, but maybe 2A. I can't remember which is which.
It's I flip-flopped on this before the meeting, honestly,
Which
and
would
I read my
allow
note wrong, but
the
it's,
work.
yes.
Yeah.
So +2A and -3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Will does this sometimes.
Okay. Is there a motion to issue the RDA with the -3 and a +2A
+2.
recommendation?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? That carries unanimously. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
We'll move on to minor modifications. We have the Nick/Pat Redding, Nancy Breckenridge LLC, 170 Cliff Road, SC 48 3837, represented by Brian Madden.
Thank you very much, Brian Madden. This project you just recently heard an order of conditions was issued at the last meeting. There was subsequently some updates to the architectural footprint, basically converting a porch to enclosed space, upgrading of the 50-foot buffer zone, relatively small area, but that was the extent of the final site plan.
Thank you, Brian. Questions or comments from commissioners? Seeing none, is there a motion to issue the minor modification?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Take RJ. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? That carries unanimously. And we'll
Thank you.
move on to, thank you. We'll move on to 5 Crow's Nest Nominee Trust at 5 Crow's Nest Way, SC 48 3803, represented by David Haynes. David, you're up.
Oh, he's back.
Good evening, ma'am. For the applicant, David Haynes. What this is basically the same structures that were on the original plan, approved plan, rotated, moved around a little bit. The fire pit is moved outside of the buffer zone. The pool is definitely outside of 50 and it was turned. The shed was moved slightly. The parking area was moved slightly. All structures still remain. No structures are any closer than they were before. And all work is as other work is as proposed before. Excuse me. And it's basically reconfigured. The pool was turned 90 degrees and goes farther away. The fire pit is moved outside of the buffer zone. My patio is outside of has been eliminated. Parking area is slightly reconfigured, but basically it's the same project that the landscape architects looked at. and changed it.
Thank you. Commissioners, questions or comments? Yes, John, go
How
ahead.
deep is the plunge pool? Just curious.
David, do you have an answer to that?
I don't remember. It doesn't need a 2-foot separation because it's in the buffer zone to a coastal dune and not a BVW. So I didn't address.
I'm just curious. It's
Thank you.
pretty unique.
Anyone else? Seeing not, is there a motion to issue the minor modification?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Linda, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Joe. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed or abstain? That carries unanimously.
Thank you very, very much and have wonderful holidays. Thank you.
Thank you as
Too.
well. I guess it's technically approve minor modifications, not issue, but motion to approve does. Now we're gonna go on to certificate of compliance and we'll be issuing stuff there. So the first certificate of compliance is Nantucket Property Trust at 13 Hallowell Lane, SC 483733, represented by Paul Santos.
He just left.
Okay, represented by Will.
I will.
Give me 1 second. All right.
Does it comply?
got-
Yay.
I just want to make sure I'm actually sharing. I don't think I am. All right. We've got 13 Aurora Way here.
We got 13 Hallowell.
Oh.
Hallowell first.
Wow. Hallowell. Did I open up the right one? Yes, I did. Amazing. Hang on one second. It's a lot nicer to scroll to the plan while someone else is talking. If you could imagine. All right, so we had our COC for 13 Hallowell. This was for our beach stairs
I remember
here.
this.
I don't believe this one had continuing conditions on it. Let me just double check. We had no continuing conditions for the path and beach stairs, and the site is in compliance. That is what Will has to say.
Thank you. Paul left before he got to hear this, so he'll have to watch the recording, but as much as I'm flattered, he wrote, "Dear Miss Arisman," which is in fact not me.
That's cut and paste time.
My eye caught that, and I thought nothing of it.
That's how long this has been around.
Yeah, but anyways, other than that, I think it's fine. So is there a motion?
I'll make that
issue
motion to
certificate of
issue.
compliance with no ongoing conditions?
That's my motion, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? Nope, that will carry unanimously. Thank you. And we'll move on to 13 Aurora Way LLC at 13 Aurora Way.
That's well.
Are you taking this one too, Will?
Brian's probably here, right? Who
This
was
is
covering?
Don Bracken.
It's Bracken.
It's probably me, unless Brian was planning on it, but I assume it's Will, which is fine. But 13 Aurora Way was for I'm not going to remember all this, a dwelling, a shed, pool, patios, retaining wall, and driveway. Let me bring up the plan real quick. We are going to have continuing conditions on this one for the pool, but upon Will's site inspection, the site is in compliance. See this? I'm trying to scroll to the plan while I talk this time. I can do it.
We have a plan.
But we are going to have continuing conditions for the pool, and that would be conditions 20 through 23. And those are our general pool conditions, minus nope, actually, it's all the same. And then 24 for our lighting condition as well. And that is it.
Okay.
Thank you. Questions or comments from commissioners? Is there a motion to issue with those ongoing conditions?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Second.
Is there a second? Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? Seeing not, that carries unanimously. And next is Daisy Field Trust, 76A, Mattakey Road, SE 482763, represented by Mark Ritz. If he's still here.
Good evening.
Mark, go ahead.
Ritz from Site Design, representing the applicants at 76A Mattakey. This is a bit of an oldie. It was for a residential development of the property. Not everything that was originally approved was constructed. I think that they left out a cabana and a garage, but everything that was constructed is in substantial compliance with the original permit. Unless Will has discovered something that we missed, so hopefully we're all good.
Thank you. Will, have you been out to the site and do you have a recommendation for us?
I only discovered the missing buildings that Mark seems to have already discovered, so.
All right.
Conditions?
Commissioners, questions or comments? I'm assuming there's ongoing conditions with the pool.
Old school. There are
Yeah.
no ongoing
We didn't have
conditions.
any of this stuff back then.
Sad.
Old school.
No lighting, no nothing.
It's actually not that long ago. It's
I know,
2015, just so
Yeah,
everybody knows.
2015.
All right. Well, in that case,
Dark ages.
is there a motion to issue the certificate of compliance with no ongoing conditions?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed or abstained? That carries unanimously.
Esther Island.
Thank you, Mark. Yep, now we have Hawksend LLC at Esther Island, SC 483669, represented by Brian Madden.
Hello. So this is for the shed proposed out on Esther's Island. And everything was installed in substantial compliance, and there was no ongoing conditions.
Did Will actually go to Esther Island?
You
With
took
all-
my line.
Will, did you go
With all the
check this out?
seals and everything over there?
I saw a nice picture.
Okay.
I did not swim over to the
Yeah, send a drone over there.
detached.
You can actually walk there.
You
It's
could
quite a far walk, but I've done it before.
I've driven out there.
Back in the day.
You can drive there too,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Depends on what time of year.
Okay, questions or comments from members of the public, or members of the commission, sorry? Seeing none. Will, we're all good on this one?
Yes, sir.
No ongoing
No,
conditions?
no.
Okay, is there a motion to issue the?
issue with no ongoing conditions.
All right, is there a second? Thank you, Tim. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? Seeing not, it carries unanimously.
Oh my God, we're in order
Thank you,
conditions
Brian.
now?
Thank you.
Now we're good to do orders of conditions.
It's only been an hour and a half.
We have quite a few to do, but we're doing good. So we're gonna be beginning with Old Braze at 196 Hummock Pond. We'll send these out and we'll get them up on the screen. I don't know if,
Let's see, where are they?
I don't know
I
if we
did.
have some drafted for all of these that we close, but let's just start with 196.
All right, hang tight. Let's reach out.
McCarthy didn't go forward because they're not in order here.
All right. The computers are really anti-Will tonight. I just would like to put that on the record. It's tough. All right. So 196 Hummock Pond. This order permits the proposed construction of a
On here.
pool, patio, cabana, pergola with associated utilities and grading at 196 Hummock Pond Road within
Do you want
buffer
to share
zone.
them?
Yeah, you
What's
gotta
that?
share it.
Oh,
You're not
my
shared.
bad.
Thank you.
It's the computer's bad. I hit share. This thing is not my
You
friend
have a new
tonight.
picture on here.
Yeah.
Look at that. There we go. There we go.
Doesn't look like it.
It's a couple years ago.
I wish we had a
5
slide
years.
projector instead of this. Anyway.
There we go.
go.
But you might want to hit the little box up there to make it full page.
No, it's bad on
Yeah,
the
it's fine.
projector.
It's
It's a
good
bad
enough.
time. So Anyway, 196 Hummock Pond Road, we
There
had
we go.
our conditions 18 through 27. 18 and 19 are our general conditions. 20 through 24 are our pool conditions. 25 for Chapter 102 lighting. 26 is no fertilizer or other ag chemicals are allowed within the 50-foot buffer zone. 27, no equipment shall be stored within 50 feet of the resource area. No refueling shall take place within 50 feet of the resource area. I also just noticed we have an incorrect label here. This one, we did want to my knowledge, we wanted to put some conditions on it related to the turtles. So if we want to, I know David had mentioned sweeps prior to any mowing or maintenance. But if there's anything specific we'd like to.
I think this covers it.
Yeah, I think prior to any mowing or landscape clearing on site, the contractor will sweep the area to determine presence of turtles. If any are found, they will contact NRD for future or for further coordination, I guess. Yes.
Are we going with sewage?
No, it's
No.
wastewater.
Yeah, and it is fixed on my master list. So this is gonna be one of the last holdovers here. But let me fix that. It should really be the stormwater treatment plant. That is,
Plant, now we got plant, not facility?
No, it's not stormwater, it's wastewater.
It's
a
wastewater
wastewater.
It
Yeah, it's
includes stormwater, but it includes other types of
stuff. Wastewater facility.
wastewater treatment plant.
It's a plant.
My new roommate works at the plant,
Ah,
so it's the plant.
okay,
Anyway,
we're done on the motion.
I just want to make sure I finish this one. Right.
This part that kills us.
I'm putting any species and we can then determine if it's the turtle.
Should they photograph that or what?
Will usually just drives right over.
Okay.
But, well,
The contract, that the applicant shall
Contact.
contact NRD for further coordination.
And I think you have to capitalize Natural Resource Department.
yeah. Okay. So it said prior to any mowing within the resource area or within 100 feet of the resource area, that's redundant. I said 100 feet. Welcome to the Department of Redundancy Department. Or within 100 feet of the resource area, the contractor shall perform a sweep for any turtle activity. If any turtle species are discovered during these sweeps, the contractor or applicant shall contact the Natural Resources Department for further coordination.
Okay.
Okay.
There was also discussion of a time of year restriction on the construction. We can do that, or we can,
This is just a fence now.
yeah, I
It's
mean,
not that other building anymore.
there still is, a patio being
Yeah.
proposed.
Lawn area.
And I mean, we could say that no construction activities allowed between April and October if we want, but
No.
Is that the window?
it's April 1st to October 31st is most turtle species, yeah. But we can say that, or we can just
I think it's fine the way it
deal
is.
with this.
I think it's good the way it is, because if they haven't, nobody's seen one there in 10 years, that maybe they just not there now.
Okay, other commissioners? I honestly doubt they're there, but we'll go for it. What were we gonna say?
No, I was like finger on the trigger if I have to, type a condition.
Oh, you're all prepared over there.
Mark, RJ, anybody?
Okay. You want a
All right,
motion?
let's move forward then.
I'll make a motion to
Issue as amended.
issue as amended.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstained? Seeing not, this carries unanimously. We'll move on to Mid-Island Services at 41 and 43 Sparks. And we'll wait for Will to get it up.
All right.
Share. There
It's
we go.
sharing.
There we go.
It takes a second. 41 and 43 Sparks Ave, Mid-Island Services. Let me just type in that DEP number. This order permits the proposed, this was for replacement of underground fuel storage tanks with utilities and grading. We're within buffer zone to BVW, no NHESP, conditions 18 and 19, and no waiver required.
The number's 3849.
Pop in. Thanks, Linda.
You're welcome, Will. Indubitably.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll do that.
I usually do it now, but we do it in post-processing as well.
Do it at the end.
The issued is when we actually sign and send,
Sign
so
it,
we
yeah.
fill in the issue date, but the close date is now. Sorry to interrupt.
Is today.
Me too.
You ready for a motion?
If commissioners don't have any other additions, questions, or comments, then
I'll make that motion to issue.
sounds good. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstained? All right, that will carry unanimously. And we'll go on to J&A Joint Testamentary Trust at 15 Bear Street.
Do we have anything extra there either? No. All right.
So 15 Bear Street, this was the proposed construction of a detached garage apartment, utilities and grading. No waivers required, no NHESP. We had conditions 18 and 19, and then condition 20 for exterior lighting. Would there be anything else?
Commissioners,
Yeah,
seeing not, is there a motion to approve as drafted?
so moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Second. Okay, we're gonna get Mike for the second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Seeing not, that carries unanimously. And we're gonna go on to 8 Gull Island LLC.
This is one that had the three,
This is 8 Gull Island Lane and RJ's recused.
This had the three findings. Which one?
Yeah, we'll go through that. But let's let Will get it up on the screen first.
8 Gull Island Lane. Proposed elevation of the existing dwelling, construction of a basement, removal of retaining wall, and construction of new retaining walls located outside of the 50 with utilities and grading. This address is incorrect.
The number is 3850.
And we got 3850. No NHESP on this one. And then we had conditions 18, 19, and then our exterior lighting, chapter 102 condition.
What do you, oh, yeah.
And a
there we
waiver,
go.
sorry.
Yeah.
The waiver was required under 390-18B1. All structures which are non-water dependent must maintain a 25-foot natural undisturbed area adjacent to a wetland, and that non-water dependent project shall be at least 50 feet from a wetland. The commission finds the project as proposed will not adversely impact the resource area as it is separated from the project area by a vehicular access way. Therefore, a waiver is granted under squiggly S 390-3F3B. I know there were multiple proposed waivers. If we want to change that, feel free.
I wrote them down.
Yeah, I mean, it's this one, the
Net benefit.
long-term net benent, or the no adverse impacts, and those are reasonable alternatives.
And it's across the street from the
Is
wetlands.
the
grandfathered.
wetland 100% off-site?
It's the, so if you know,
Pit on the Westchester.
yeah, if you know like Gull Island, Westchester, it's that
Retention pond.
strange retention
So-
basin that
Yeah.
is across the way. So it's
Yeah.
not, it's not a million miles away.
Let's
but
just do that one that's listed here under B then, because it's the most clean way to do it, so.
Which is which?
People don't really see this one a lot, so this is, the waiver reads, the commission may grant a waiver from these regulations when portions of the buffer zone between the proposed project and the adjacent resource area are previously altered and are not within the control of the project owner or applicant, such as public or semi-public pedestrian or vehicular access ways.
Okay, because this road and those houses are substantially above that retention pond.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's the best waiver to issue here.
Okay,
Good job.
good job.
I mean, we can issue other ones too, but I
Oh,
think
come
that's
on,
the
I
one,
think that
the
covers
one
it.
that makes sense.
Covers it.
All right. Is there a motion to issue as drafted in that case?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second? Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 So
Any
we don't
opposed or
necessarily,
abstained?
we don't necessarily have to spell it out, we just cite the section?
Yeah.
Okay.
Seeing not, among those sitting, that carries unanimously with Commissioner Turcott recused. And we'll go on to Lavender Point. I always thought it was interesting that they spell lavender wrong on that street, but Lavender Point Nominee Trust at 8 Lavender Lane,
They've got roads spelled wrong all over the place.
all over the country.
In Satcham's Path, they've misspelled the Wampanoag name.
I was always hoping it was someone's last name or something, but yeah. I don't know.
Anyways, let's go on to Will to get this up on the screen for us.
I want to make sure this is right. I have an address issue.
Yep.
8 Lavender Lane was a
Yeah.
cottage, pool, patio, cabana, and utilities, correct?
Yeah, by a coastal dune.
Coastal Bank, Coastal Dune, and LSCSF, I believe.
Yeah, it's a policy bank, I think.
I just want to make sure, because once in a while, Will misses the address from whatever previous page I was, and that is 100% what happened.
That cut and paste will kill you.
It's not even, it's just to open a new one. All right. So this order permitted the proposed construction of a cottage, pool, patio, cabana, utilities, and grading at 8 Lavendar Lane within buffer zone to a coastal bank, coastal dune, and land subject to coastal storm flowage. A waiver is required. We had no NHESP, conditions 18 and 19. Then our pool conditions, this I don't understand.
It's just going to keep going.
Treatment plant.
And it's supposed to say plant.
We're gonna change it to plant as well, but
It's
this is
just never going to end.
mind-boggling me. It will eventually.
Do you have the lighting one on the next page? Or is that, no, there it is.
Yeah, it's there.
Hang on, guys.
102.
And we had our lighting, yes.
Yep.
Chapter 102, but that is it. And then there's a waiver as well.
Not
I don't
required.
have a waiver on here.
I don't have one.
And Brian is raising his hand.
Hold on 1 second. Let me check one thing here.
And Brian decided not to come over to Nantucket this time.
Mr. Madden, go ahead.
Just point of clarification for the proposal includes additions, studio, cabana, pool, patio, decks, utilities, regrading, landscaping. I could put this in the chat if that's easy.
Well, it's
we
three,
have it.
well,
We
it's,
have it in
it's,
the
it's 3-5. Well,
application. You can just take it in.
Yeah, and the waiver was for the decommissioning of the septic system within the 25-foot to the coastal
Yeah.
bank and
Yeah.
restoration of that area.
Yeah,
Thank you.
work proposed is addition, studio, cabana, pool, patio, decks, utilities, regrading, and landscaping.
yeah. We finished the number at the bottom of the page. It's 3-5.
Let me, hold on 1 second, guys, because it's possible nope. Somehow saved over the findings page for that with a copy of 170 Cliff is what happened.
Why don't we hold
So,
this over till?
yeah,
1:09?
if we don't mind, Brian, I'm so
Brian,
sorry.
but we're gonna hold this over till January 9th.
He's muted.
How are we doing that?
Because we have a messed up order. That's not right.
It didn't get cut, it
I
did
saved
not get
over
cut
it
and
with
paste.
170 Cliff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oops.
So let's put
100%
that
will.
on the agenda for January 9th. And then we're gonna go to Pendant Realty at 5 Cascade Course.
Our mistake.
I don't think Cascade is spelled correctly. Cascade is not spelled correctly on the agenda, Will.
Yeah, that's fine.
Don't look at me.
That's fine.
No, it's correct over here. It's just without an A.
I know how to spell Cascada.
Cosqueda. Here.
Look at my findings page. It's spelled perfectly. Anyway,
Not 170 Cliff, is it?
No.
No.
They're all 170 Cliff, are they? Will?
They're all
no,
one click.
no,
Okay.
just 2 of them.
We could just go
Uh,
home if they
We had
were.
25 orders to work with, so.
Yeah. It's been a little crazy. So we have 5 Cascada Course Way.
And spell pennant. even either.
Order permits the proposed construction of a single-family dwelling,
Single families hyphenated?
porches. I'm already there, Linda.
Fine. Take it from a
Porches,
newspaper writer.
driveway, and septic system with associated utilities and grading at Cascada Course Way, 5 Cascada Course Way. Within buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland. Waiver is required for the project as proposed, but did we change our mind on that? I believe Brian
Yeah, there
updated
was
that.
a-
There's now no waiver.
There was a amendment in the packet.
Yeah.
With new
The one from the state.
new soils
Yeah.
and groundwater information showing that it doesn't require the waiver because there is a maintenance of the 2-foot separation, so waivers are not required.
All right.
Cool.
That's an easy edit. And then we had our lighting condition, number 20. And then there's a pool being installed outside of the 100. So the pool shall not be drained or discharged into an area within the commission's jurisdiction is number 21. Unless that's not there anymore.
Commissioners, anything to add? Is there a motion to approve as amended?
So
Issue as
moved.
amended?
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you, Joe. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? Seeing not, that carries unanimously. And Torque Act at 1 Mothball.
All right, 1 Mothball Way. DP number is 3844. All right. So this order permits the proposed removal of an existing single-family dwelling, construction of a new dwelling, and septic relocation with associated utilities and grading at 1 Mothball Way within buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland. A waiver is required for this project as proposed.
Put the date in.
Is or not? Can't read that far over.
Is.
It is. That's what I thought, but I just wanted to make sure here.
Put 19 up there.
No NHESP. We had conditions 18 and 19, and then condition 20 for lighting. And then our waiver, waivers are required under 390-18B1 for removal and relocation of the foundation within 2-foot separation of high groundwater. The commission finds no reasonable alternative for the project to be constructed. Therefore, the commission grants a waiver under 390-3F3A of the Nantucket Wetland Regulations.
Commissioners, anything to add? So
Probably moss.
I know a little bit of the story. There's Mothball Pines, or there used to be.
Yeah.
There was a big hunting camp out there.
Yep.
I don't know why it was called Mothball, but maybe they had a bunch of hunting camp with critters getting in, and they needed to put mothballs in there. That's just my theory, but yeah, there was a big
Fishing
mothball-
camp too. It's not
Fishing
just
and
hunting.
hunting.
Fishing
Yeah,
and hunting
fishing and
camp
hunting
out
camp
there.
out there.
Bunch of little cottages at one point.
Yeah. Yeah, no worries. Anything else?
There's all kinds of weird things here.
So.
I'll make a
is there-
motion to
Approve.
approve
issue.
as, no, it wasn't amended, just approve as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed or abstain? Seeing not, that will carry unanimously. And now we have Hale at 117 Matticat with Mike recused. Get that one up.
Apparently the week of December 5th, I was off my game because I kept putting the wrong addresses, but I do believe strongly that this one is
It's okay.
117 Matticat.
Share.
Give me 1 second. Linda, if I had 4 arms, I would
Yes,
do
you
it
do
all
have
at
4
once,
arms.
but I don't. I got 4 eyes. That's it. All right. It's really 2 because one of them doesn't work. All right. 117 Matticat. We also have a DEP number, obviously. It was
4-3.
43. This order permits the proposed installation of an in-ground pool with associated utilities and grading at 117 Nantucket Road. It's in the buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland. Waiver is not required for this project as proposed. We had no NHESP. Conditions 18 and 19. Our lighting condition for 20. And then, would you look at that? Would you
Alright.
look at that?
It says facility.
Says
it's not
facility.
plant.
It says facility, so I'm changing it to
You
plant.
only get half credit
continuity,
for
but
that.
That's still better. It's technically a facility.
It's
but-
the right word.
All right. Is there any additions from commissioners?
He has to change the date at the top.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep. That's no big.
But it still says the 5th. 4-3.
Anything else?
No.
Motion to issue as amended.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you, Tim. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstained? Among those sitting, that carries unanimously. Thank you. We'll go on to 49 Nobadir Ave.
Yep.
Wow. Here we go.
Ooh.
I can't even get my cursor to move over to the screen tonight. I'm not kidding when I said it doesn't like me. So 49 Nobadir Ave. This order permits the proposed construction of a, what's up? Oh,
All right, let's speak a little more gently. Yes,
It's
please-
share.
Please share.
I need to share.
I'm sensitive. This order permits the proposed construction of a single family dwelling and septic system with associated utilities and grading at 49 Nobadir Avenue within buffer zone to a coastal bank. Waiver is not required, no NHESP. And we had conditions 18 and 19, and that's it.
No, there's no pool.
We need the finding.
Oh, what was our finding here?
In an area of a coastal eroding bank,
Bank.
or I think it's a dune here, but in the area of eroding dune and beach, no coastal engineering structure shall ever be permitted on this site, but you have this in a different permit
Okay, didn't
somewhere.
it come from the state?
Yeah, it's from the state, but it's
Yeah.
also in other permits that we have. I've seen this finding on plenty of permits.
So whatever it is, that's what the finding is.
I do know I know the additional finding you're referring to. If I were to get I can't get the exact wording because I don't have my O drive, like our natural resources drive on this computer. Part of why I'm excited to go back to the trailer. But
Not happening.
I feel comfortable writing it with slightly different wording if the commission does.
Can we do it just through staff?
Our options are to write it or to hold it to January 9th.
I'm happy with either side.
Who wants to hold it? Raise your hand. Okay, let's hold it. Sorry.
I still have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
So why doesn't lighting apply to the dwelling? The code seems to apply to it.
It's not within our
We can
jurisdiction.
definitely
I went
put
to that seminar and it seemed equally applicable.
We can put it, yeah.
I normally would on this if I'm being totally honest.
I mean, if you have, floodlights pointing straight into the sky on a house, that's
Well, they
the
can't
same.
do that anyway under the dark skies. It
I
has
know they
nothing to do
can't,
with us. They
but-
No,
can't do
yeah,
it
we can-
permanent,
we
like
can
it's
put it.
period. There's nothing to do with us normally on something like this. It's the dark
You
skies.
shouldn't shine
thing.
your lights towards the beach. Yeah.
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 All right, hang on.
Well, actually, one we didn't have to hold, one we did. I thought we had to hold 49 anyway.
I think 49 and 51.
No, they both closed.
Nobody, the 51 is a slightly different project. It's not
the
a,
same finding, though.
yeah, it's not a vacant lot.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, I think the same would apply to both, so if we hold off,
Okay.
I can get those slapped on there for next meeting, no problem.
Okay, are you ready to move on then? So we're gonna hold
10 and 11.
49 Nobodere Ave and 51 Nobodere Avenue till January 9th to get the complete conditions on those.
Okay.
And then we're gonna move
Harborfront.
to Harborfront Realty Trust at Village Way.
We were really moving along there for a while.
Yep.
We just having a lot of these to do.
Village Way,
Village Way,
Harborfront Realty Trust.
Harborfront.
Beach stairs.
Beach stairs. If anyone does want an interesting little neighborly dispute to watch while you're on your holiday break, you can go back and look at the original filing on that, because I was very confused when I first came into
For Village Way?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we can talk about it in 3 weeks because I'm missing a file.
Okay. All right.
So we're continuing this one too?
through about 15 times.
All right.
Okay.
Village Way, we're gonna hold
Oh.
over till January 9th. We gotta
Well,
make sure we get these because we do have to run up against the 21-day
yeah.
deadline.
And we're off an extra week here.
That's fine. And then we're gonna go on to Tatimo Way.
16.
Realty Trust at 16 Tatimo with RJ recused.
Yeah, I just,
Put it up on the screen, please.
we're working on it. All right, 16 Tatimo.
Totimo.
Tatimo. I'm from Worcester, it's Tatimo. This order permits the proposed deck renovation, fenced installation, shed relocation, and landscaping at 16 Tatimo Way within buffer zone to a coastal bank, coastal beach, and land subject to coastal storm flowage. Waiver is required for this project as proposed. No NHESP. We had conditions 18 and 19, and then our condition 20 for exterior lighting. The waiver was required for the project to allow work within 25 feet of a resource area. The commission finds the proposed deck and fencing improvements qualify as pre-existing use. Therefore, the commission grants a waiver under 390-3F3D of the Nantucket Wetland Protection Regulations.
Is this the one where we have to
Is this-
mark the path?
There's a couple things here.
Yeah.
Is there a path
First of
marking on
all,
this one?
the work on the fence and the deck, we're saying is the pre-existing use, so we're applying the waiver for that.
Yeah.
And then we
Yes.
wanted a condition saying, I wanted a condition
structural issue.
talking about the structural issue
Right.
on the deck, and we also want a permanent demarcation of the path
Yeah.
layout.
The only reason
Yeah, go ahead.
that I'm concerned about using the word structural is when you replace decking. So resurfacing the deck means you pull the boards up, put new boards down. Because
Yeah.
they're probably all popped and terrible. That can be considered structural because you have to stand on it. So my concern was, I think maybe we should do support system
Support,
or
yeah.
framing. I think the support system that's in the ground, whether it's on piers or whatever it's
Use-
sitting on, is what I think, if that's replaced, that then sends it into another realm.
John, thoughts?
You could use the word structural elements or something like that.
No,
uh,
because
what
you're taking
about
the deck
structural
off, and that's
supports?
structural
Or
elements.
support, there you go.
Structural
Structural
supports,
Supports better.
because that's in the
The
ground.
deck doesn't
Yeah, I
support
think
the
if it's
structure.
like the pilings or
Whatever they're
some of the
on.
stringers if they need to. I mean, again, you put up a board, but if you're having to take all the boards up and replacing the framing, that's
And new
different.
footings and everything else, that's a
Footings,
different issue.
footings, definitely.
Yeah, so structural support, I think, is where
Structural
we are.
support, yeah.
They said one or two, so where do we draw the line?
Yeah, but you know how these things go.
I
You start
know.
to look at it
And
and
then
you
you
think
take 'em
there's
all
one or
out.
two, and you start to
Exactly.
realize that 10 to 20 of them are actually shot, so.
So
That's
it's
just
struck,
1 to 2 with zeros on the end.
yeah, it's structural supports. Did you put that in there?
No,
I
he's
have
going
not
to.
added that condition. I need it repeated to me.
Should,
Okay, get ready.
should,
Fingers.
should any work on the structural supports of the deck be required, that will not be considered maintenance, and a amended order of conditions or new notice of intent shall be required to be filed to the Conservation Commission.
There you go.
What about the path?
He put that
You got that in,
there.
it's 21. Okay,
Did I spell anything wrong?
no,
I
it
wasn't
didn't show
looking.
up wrong. There's no red in there.
I want to go to bed.
All right.
Okay.
Commissioners, anything else? Satisfied? We need a motion to issue as amended.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
We need a second. Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstained? RJ is recused, and otherwise it's carried unanimously. And next up is 224 Pulpus Road.
Oh, that's right, Swain was already.
Swain, we already did.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yellow Dog at 224 Pulpus.
We're creeping in. You should not bring something that has carbohydrates. It makes
It's
you
like, I
gassy.
know I have this, it's hiding.
I like the salt. Fine.
All
I
right.
just eat it right out of the jar. I don't even bother with the bread. It's just a vessel to get peanut butter in my mouth, so I just eat it right out of the jar.
Stop, I'm hungry. All right, 224 Pulpus Road, Yellow Dog Nominee Trust. 3858 is.
Share?
I'm not sharing, hold on.
Say please.
Share, just share it. Share, please. More,
It's because
please.
Adobe, I just open up a new tab and it keeps sharing the whole time, but Word doesn't work like that. It's hard to be me, okay? All right.
Fine.
Permit overview. This order permits the proposed additions to a single-family dwelling, driveway reconfiguration, construction of a garage, studio, and covered outdoor space at 224 Pulpus Road within buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland and isolated vegetated wetland. Waiver is not required for this project as proposed. The area does not fall within NHESP. And we had, excuse me, and we had our conditions 18 and 19. No waiver. If we want to add anything else, please let me know.
Anything to add, commissioners?
No.
All right, is there a motion to issue as drafted?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstained? Seeing not, that carries unanimously. And we have Osborne at 6 Woodbury Lane with RJ recused.
It's held.
46
got
was
held,
my
yeah.
comment, didn't, yeah, it didn't close.
Six Woodbury. Share it, share it, share it, share it. Good job. All right. 6 Woodbury Lane. This order permits the proposed addition to the existing dwelling and garage. I'd like to make that additions, my bad. This order permits the proposed additions to the existing dwelling and garage at 6 Woodbury Lane within buffering zone to a bordering vegetated wetland. Waiver is required, no NHESP. Conditions 18, 19, and 20 for our lighting. And a waiver is required under 390-3FA that all structures must maintain a 2-foot separation to groundwater. The commission finds no reasonable alternative for the foundation is feasible and therefore grants a waiver under 390-3F3A of the Nantucket Wetland Regulations.
Get rid of the space.
Where do I got space?
It's section 390.
Eagle eye.
Well, I was a newspaper writer for decades, so it's just like,
All right. Anything else from commissioners?
no,
Is there a motion to issue as drafted?
so moved.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you, Joe. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain, or seeing not? We have RJ recused and otherwise it carries unanimously. And the next one is
Quidnet.
Burbridge, 47 Quidnet.
Close it in. Are you here or are you going off for holiday?
Leave it on Sunday.
All right, because I'll have to go in and sign them then.
No, we're having
All
physically
right.
present.
Okay. Oh, with some, that's, well, no, because he had to change some, remember? So we're
That's
gonna be
fine.
getting him, I'll just go in and sign, so there's a live person.
No, we're signing them today.
Yeah, I do have,
The signature pages?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna need a minute to note recusals and everything, but I'm
Yeah,
gonna try and do it in
that's
other
fine.
business. All right, 47 quid.
54, it's 54,
50, what?
38, 54.
I was like, you mean 54 Quidnet? Okay.
No, no.
No, 55. 47 equipment, 38, 55.
It's 55.
Okay, you guys should just let me read the DP number and then I'll get it right,
Let's
trust
move
me.
on.
All right.
I haven't moved on
That's
yet. I haven't moved on yet. I've moved on now.
additions to an existing
I've moved to the
dwelling,
next one.
Let him read it.
construction of a path, pool, shed, driveway reconfiguration, landscaping and utility updates at 47 Quidnet Road within buffer zone to a bordering and an isolated vegetated wetland. Waiver is required for the project as proposed. No NHESP. Conditions 18 and 19, condition 20 for lighting. And then we have our pool conditions. Let's check what kind of facility I put it in this time. We said stormwater treatment plant.
We're really schizophrenic when it comes to this
Incorrect
phrase.
diagnosis.
There we go.
And our waivers are required under 390-3F3C that all non-water dependent projects must maintain a 25-foot natural undisturbed buffer to a resource area. The commission finds that the proposed driveway relocation further from the resource area, along with the proposed revegetation, will provide a long-term net benefit to the resource area. Therefore, the commission grants a waiver under 390-3F3C of the Nantucket Wetland
Go
Regulations.
fix the citation above that. Get rid of the space on the F and get rid of the period after the F. Up, not there. Well, up higher.
Yeah.
And then get rid of the space to the left.
I copy and paste these from E-code 360. And it is always different.
Okay.
Anything else in there?
I don't have anything written down.
I'm finding more extra spaces.
It's 3F3C, but
3F3.
Yep.
That's confusing though.
it's.
Normally, there's parentheses here somewhere. Is there another
it's-
3?
It's section
Yeah, there you go.
390.
3C.
Is there another letter here?
Yeah, 3F3C.
Hold on, don't worry.
3C.
Yeah. Okay. Motion?
Yes, we need a motion.
Motion to issue.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? Seeing not, that carries unanimously. Then we have Elegance LLC, 75 Pocomo. RJ and Linda recused. And we'll get this one up.
All right, 75 Pocomo, Elegance LLC. This order permits the installation of a patio and landscaping at 75 Pocomo Road, then buffer zone to a bordering and in an isolated vegetated wetland. Waiver is required for this project as proposed. No NHESP. This was for our, I want to make sure I put this on the right one, not 77. 75 had the beach path, the grass path. So I had 18 and 19, and then condition 20 for exterior lighting. Condition 21 that no fertilizer or agricultural chemicals shall be used on the grass path accessing the beach stairs. 22, the grass path shall be demarcated to show its boundaries as of 2024 so as to keep the path at the current dimensions. And our waivers are required.
So we actually have to discuss this, whether we think a grass path is a water dependent use or not.
I remember that now.
Commissioners' thoughts?
I'm curious how you all feel about it.
I think no, but.
I'd say no.
Okay, so do the waiver. That's the waiver that we're using. You don't have to read the whole thing out. It's
So all good?
no adverse impact, no reasonable alternatives.
Nice. That's what I thought was gonna happen.
Okay, is there a motion to issue as amended?
It's Christmas. It's good.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain?
God, you guys died without me.
Linda and RJ are recused, and among those sitting, that carries unanimously. We got Serendipity LLC at 77 Pocomo without Linda, but RJ's back with us. And we'll get this up.
I am not the fastest guy. All right. 77 Pocomo, Serendipity. This order permits the construction of a cabana, relocation of existing pool equipment and landscaping at 77 Pocomo Road. We're in land subject to coastal storm flowage, buffer zone to coastal bank and beach. No waiver is required, no NHESP. Conditions 18 and 19. And then we also had condition 20 for exterior lighting and 21 that the pool shall not be discharged to an area within commission jurisdiction.
All right. Anything to add, commissioners? Okay, is there a motion to issue as drafted?
So moved.
We need a second. Thank you, Joe. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain?
Got the right number on there, Will?
With Commissioner Williams recused.
DEP number?
Yeah, 3853.
Yeah, we'll get all the numbers on there.
Okay.
And then finally, Horn Place Nominee Trust at 40 Hawthorne with Commissioner RJ recused. Commissioner Turcott. Commissioner RJ. That's like at work sometimes when I'm doing programs with kids and they call me Mr. Seb.
I love that, when kids say Mr. First name. All right.
When I
That's
was living down
adorable.
in Memphis, it was Miss Linda, and was like, no, don't do that.
All right.
All right,
We'll get
we've
this on the
got
screen.
40
Share.
Hawthorne. This order permits the construction of a dwelling, guest house, garage, pool, cabana, sheds, decks, patios. We need a comma. We need a
Hotel.
comma. Tennis court, retaining walls, solar array, pervious driveway, and associated landscaping and grading at 40 Hawthorne Lane within buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland. A waiver is not required for this project as proposed.
You're not a fan of Oxford commas?
Nope. Too difficult.
Well, technically, only landscaping and grading done together
I
would be
don't-
allowed now.
I only know what that is from that Vampire Weekend
Put it
song.
a comma after the landscaping. Otherwise, if they try to do landscaping and grading separately, it won't be allowed.
Ooh. We don't want to do that. Okay. All right. Fair. I do appreciate there's like strong grammar abilities on this commission. Anyway, 18.
Don't
they're
get
all-
me
I'm,
started.
I'm not being facetious. I know words. All right. 18 and 19.
Spell it.
And then we had our pool conditions, 20 through 24, which is about to be amended.
But you got the plant part of it. What happened here?
You guys know me by now, right? I don't know. All right. Condition 25 is for our lighting. And
No waivers.
no waiver, and that is it.
Okay.
Questions, comments, additions? Is there a motion to issue as amended?
Motion to issue as amended.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Seeing not, that carries with Commissioner Turcott recused. And all of the members sitting, voting in the affirmative. That takes us on in the agenda. Tonight, we have no extensions of order. We'll be moving on to other business. We have no minutes to approve.
They're just addictive.
We do have one monitoring report that was submitted to the commission. It is the water sampling report for 19 Wawinet Way or Wawinet Road, the Land Banks farm operation up there. That is in the packet. If anyone has questions or comments on that, you can direct them to Will and he'll be happy to answer them. And apart from that, we need to go on to emergency certification.
I've
So we
never done
haven't
one.
done these in a long time.
What is
How it works is emergency certifications that are in such an emergency situation that they need to be done outside of a meeting
Yeah.
it can be approved by Will, but then must be ratified
Right,
by
by
the
us.
commission at its
Yep.
next meeting. Emergency certifications last only 30 days and require a notice of intent to be filed out of that process. So Will, do you want to take us through the three emergency certs and then we're gonna ratify them?
So we'll see them on the 9th of January.
Well, they'll have
No.
to submit something at
Yeah.
least by then, but he'll take us
Okay.
through it.
So one of them we won't have a signature page for tonight. Jeff whipped it out, but I can explain that one as well. We'll have a signature page next meeting. But what order were these in?
16 sheet
16.
font.
So 16, you probably, I don't know if you guys are on the Instagram or the Facebook, but you may or may not have seen some homes threatened by coastal erosion
Yeah.
on Sheep Pond Road. So 16 was not this past Monday, but the Monday before this Monday, 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
You'll remember the weekend was pretty windy. We got some calls at the end of the week prior to that there was maybe 15 to 20 feet-ish at 16 Sheep Pond, and by Monday, the deck was undermined.
Undermined.
So that was an emergency order to move the house. And 28, there was a lot going on that week. 28 was a septic tank that was also uncovered by erosion. So we issued an emergency work certification for that as well. So they are on a 30-day clock for NOI submission. We've got that all set in the
I
office.
don't know where they're gonna put it.
And then the third one was for straight wharf dredging. Again, if you have Instagram or Facebook, the Current loves to inform us. It's actually pretty good. But the dredging that has had to take place was also big time emergency work because there have been some boat issues with our ferries
Yeah.
and scraping the bottom where some dredging has been needed.
Highline.
I guess they had to cancel a boat
Yeah.
earlier this week, something. But that's all the info I have on that. It was Monday morning while I was on vacation for 3 hours.
Yep, so all three of those certs, emergency certs are in the packet.
Yeah.
Sounds like we'll be ratifying 16 Sheep Pond and 28 Sheep Pond, and then dealing with Straight Wharf dredging at the January 9th meeting.
Correct.
Is there a motion to ratify the emergency certifications for 16 Sheep Pond and 28 Sheep Pond Road?
So
So-
moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Thank you.
Nice
Thank
try,
you, Mike,
Mike.
for the second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed or abstain? Those will carry unanimously. Thank you, Will and Jeff, for keeping us abreast of these. And we'll be moving on to enforcement actions or potential enforcement actions. Will, go ahead.
We do, and I don't know if you want to take this right now or not. We do have a raised hand.
Is my pet peeve coming up tonight?
So we are not in a public
Conversation.
hearing right now. We
Yeah.
are simply in a public meeting, which does not
public
allow
comment.
for members of the public to comment unless it's really only on an informational basis.
Mm.
Mr. O'Brien, I will recognize you, but if it goes beyond the scope, I will cut you off. So please.
No,
state
thank you, Mr. Chair. This is,
your comment.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is Carlos Pena from Folk Infrastructure and Environment regarding the emergency dredging at Strait Wharf.
Sorry,
We
say
just-
your name and your connection again.
Okay, Carlos Pena from
Okay.
Folk Infrastructure and Environment on behalf of New England Development Site Management. This is the Strait Wharf Emergency Dredging Project.
Okay.
Our understanding was that with the issuance of the emergency certification form and all the subsequent filings with the Corps, we were planning to dredge on January 6th and 7th. You just mentioned
Yes,
that.
yes, Mr. Pena, the emergency certification that has been signed by Will is valid. You're allowed to do all the work. We just need to ratify it as a commission, but it doesn't preclude you from doing the work. So you're all set to go.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to clarify that point. Thank you
Thank
again.
you.
Apologize for interrupting the meeting.
No worries. Have a good night.
Thank you.
So enforcement actions or potential enforcement actions?
I have two quick updates, but also if there's any questions on anything else, please let me know. One, and Seth, I was running around before the meeting. I don't even know if you saw this text or responded, but
Yeah.
we had mentions of 63 Baxter at our last meeting. I don't want to get too far into it because it's not agended, but I have not looked into the permitting history of
Evil
those
viewing
stairs.
stand?
What's that?
The evil viewing stand?
Yeah, so I'm going out with Morgan tomorrow morning, and I'll be looking into the permitting history in my office in the morning, but we're gonna go measure the viewing platform and everything.
Yep, thank you. Just measure the viewing platform and look at the permitting history of the stairs or anything else that you find on site. Really just do a deep review at this point.
And then my other super quick update, I did get full confirmation that an NOI is being worked on for 62 Winoma with the intention to have it in for the January 9th meeting. So that's my update on our deer fence wall.
20 feet away from the pond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I just wanted to let you guys know, I do know from their representatives that the NOI is being worked on after.
All right. Anything else? Any questions or comments?
Nope.
Okay, next, we're gonna have commission vote and potential adoption of the procedural update. You'll remember that we talked about, we had a special meeting to talk about this, where we all went over the updates to our procedures. We were all fine with them. We were planning to vote on it in November. Will asked us to hold it over to look at some changes to the agenda order, which are not required because we can order the agenda in any way we like without a procedural update. So at this point, we simply need a vote to approve the procedural update for the Conservation Commission.
I'm
And
not
we need
ready.
an effective date, which we talked about it being January 1st. So we need a motion to that effect.
Do we have to notify the public?
We are notifying them right now.
All right, only because nobody's around next week, so.
They should be, I mean, people have been following this. I would say, Will, we're gonna get the new procedures up on the website, is that correct?
Yes.
Better. 'Cause
I'm so happy that we have 3 weeks before the next meeting.
Yeah.
But yes, and Lisa's already drafted up new agendas and stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll be getting that up.
And just as a matter of foresight, let's use that word. I can imagine that at our January 9th meeting, there's gonna be some questions
Some
on things
confusion.
because we have a new regulation and a new procedure. So we'll be working as we go for a little while and then we'll catch on. With that being said, do we have a motion to approve the procedural update with a effective date of January 1st, 2025?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Is there a second? We'll take Joe for the second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Seeing not, that carries unanimously.
Can I vote aye too?
You don't get a vote, but
Just one, just
it
this
is,
once?
it is still unanimous. Okay, reports. Track, Tim. CPC, John.
Nothing new.
And PNEDC, Mike.
We actually had 2 meetings this week. The first one was just some update and approval of transportation issues and some contract formalities that Leslie is in charge of. And then the second meeting, which everybody can go back and watch on YouTube, was the update from UMass on the speed restrictions proposed in the harbor for the right whales, which would be pretty devastating to Nantucket. So it was very interesting statistically, numbers wise, and culturally, what it would do to the island. So it's not very long. It's only about a 20-minute presentation. If people want to go back and watch it, it's on YouTube.
Thank you, Mike. You may remember that the Conservation Commission authored and signed a letter of opposition regarding that proposed speed rule. If any additional actions are needed on our behalf, please let us know and we will work towards that.
And the NP and EDC also just drafted another letter as well.
Thank you.
Because we did a letter long time
Yeah, we did a
ago.
letter. Harbor plan, Linda?
We're waiting on a draft. There were some comments at the last meeting. I couldn't make it because I had 16 HCC applications on the same day. But they made some more comments. They're refining it even more. I assume after the first of the year, the draft will go out to the public again, so.
Okay. And that's it. Commissioners' comments?
Happy holidays to everybody, and
Holidays, great meeting, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I have one comment.
Oh, you would have one comment.
It's a good comment. So we have an item on our agenda that has been continuously continued and originally was a result of an enforcement action. I understand that it sometimes takes time to get the filing into place, but is there any capacity to make them open it? I mean, it seems.
Which one? Oh,
The
no.
summer house.
Yeah, Summer House. It seems like it's been over a year since this process started, and it just seems like we're not holding to the spirit of the original enforcement action.
I can't represent it,
Yeah, you don't.
but I can tell you why it's delayed.
So, yeah, I was at least slightly under the impression that we'd be seeing something at 1-9, but I don't know if that's not the case.
I mean,
But,
I understand how it goes. It's
I'm with you.
frustrating, and when I almost feel like there needs to be another enforcement if they just keep delaying because there's no progress. So
And I have to look into that on a staff level,
Yeah,
like
go
on the what, but
I know we can't really
I
talk
hear
about it
ya.
tonight, anyways. But it's just my thoughts here. Anything else? RJ, go ahead.
Quick question, Commissioner Schaefer. Just keep us posted if you see any drones when you're flying back and forth here.
I haven't seen any drones, but I definitely saw 16 and 28 sheep pond perilously close to the water. So I can testify they needed the emergency order.
So I would like to wish everybody happy holidays. Firstly, thank you for the last two meetings have been long, but we've stuck it out and gotten through a lot. Thank you to the Natural Resources Department staff. And with that being said, Will, do you have any comments or reports for us?
Yeah, I'm gonna have paper signature pages, but I'm gonna need everybody to practice patience because I need to mark all the recusals and whatnot.
I'm gonna help you out. On this page,
We're gonna adjourn.
I have all of them. I mean, on the, so our signature pages only have
Alright, pass it
DEP
back.
numbers. I'm good.
Alright, so before we leave, we're going to make a motion to adjourn, but before you leave the building, we're gonna
Sign.
sign all the
Yeah.
forms. So, thank you. We need a second.
Second.
All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That carries unanimously. Thank you all and happy holidays.
Ah. It's my bread and butter. Oh, I do that every meeting. The meeting's over. I need like 3 minutes too. I do it constantly. Yes. You remember the gallon of milk challenge? Hi, I'm Kenny Rogers. Raw. It's because he's from Central Mass.